you said, these men are human. People forget these little psychological factors play a massive part, man.
And obviously, when you bring in players like Bruno G, you've got that confidence behind you. Somebody else that can get the ball from deep, because we all know there's been times as Arsenal fans when we're watching our team play and we see Odegaard in the 6 collecting the ball. It was one of the most frustrating things to, bro, I hated it.
Tone that down a bit less, get you in the final third, man.
I hated it. It would bypass Zubimendi and Rice, and you see him collecting the ball from Saliba or Gabriel. Be like, bro, you're our 10. So now you're there. Who's playing 10?
Because we still got to get the ball from one half to the other still.
Exactly.
And we're playing against low blocks, which, unpopular opinion, people open up against us, like you saw with City. We'll play all the football in the world. That's more for Arteta to fix still.
Yeah. And we're still going to see that from him, because obviously he always wants to get on the ball. Best players want to get on the ball no matter where they are on the pitch. But I feel like we're going to see that more or less. If we've got someone like Bruno G.
I hope so, man.
Having someone like Bruno G and Miles Lewis-Skelly and Rice behind him will help him unlock more GA, get more goals, because he'll be in and around that part of the pitch. So obviously, let's see if he can, if that will pan out for the rest of the season. But other than that, yeah, I just that's it when it comes to attacking wise. When it comes to like expectations, because at the back, I know what they can do.
We've got the 2/3 of the pitch on lock, bro. It's just that attack.
It's just the attack,
and we got 121 goals. It's another case of I know we're gonna score, but who's gonna score?
Yeah, who's
it's mad.
Score? It's mad. But I'm still, there's a part of me that wants this window to close tomorrow, because I'm still got a 5% about Miles Lewis-Skelly. I don't know, bro.
I think he's cool, man.
I think he's cool. I just
sell him
trust,
because it can't be a pure profit with him, bro. It don't make sense. That is 70-80 million pound rated man. Like, obviously, Rice and Bruno and Zubi, they're here for the present. That man is the short, medium, and long term of this football club. I hear you, and I do have that little inkling in the back of my mind. But then I look at it, and anything can happen. Granted, but you didn't go to the World Cup in it, and we never had midfield options. So you had a strong enter last season where big games you've done your business. You've been here in pre-season, and I think you're starting the season. I don't know if Rice is going to start tomorrow against Coventry. Probably will. I don't know if Bruno is. You could argue that. I think Miles is going to be cool, and that's another question, bro. Go on.
Yeah. Miles has to start. It's just that you can't operate as a business to just keep buying and not selling. And we just bought Konza. Somebody is going. Like, we can't just keep the squad. You have to balance the books. It's a business at the end of the day, as well as us being fans. We love our club, but you need to balance the books.
And we've been poor at selling for time.
And somebody's getting sold. Maybe I'm just being a little bit paranoid. I don't think he's gonna go, but I just hope it's just not Miles Lewis-Skelly. That's the one player that we just.
No, that man bringing the peas. If realistically, like Miles Lewis-Skelly and Wanyeri, even though Wanyeri stocks taking a hit, they'll probably fetch higher fees than a Gabriel Jesus, then a Fabio Vieira, then a Reece Nelson. We're being linked with 3 million. I agree with that. I thought Wanyeri would be the one to go, and that's actually another question before I forget. Yeah. Like, obviously, we know there's a lot of games and whatnot, but like, who do you think is going to be the first choice pivot? Because some people are telling me Miles Lewis-Skelly and Rice and Bruno. Statistically, based off last season, you can say Rice and Zubimendi. I actually feel of the 4, because they're always going to get linked with moves. I think Zubimendi's the one I'm watching, not necessarily Miles Lewis-Skelly, because you might just want to go back to Spain. Like, what do you make of that midfield? Or even, what if Arteta was to say Rice or Zubi, you man are going to be the lone 6. I'm going with a Bruno MLS at either side. So obviously that impacts an Odegaard or an Eze.
Yeah. Depends on the game, though.
It's mad.
Regarding Coventry, I still think he was going to go with Miles Lewis-Skelly because he's looked sharp, man. He looked sharp against Man City, and he's looked sharp throughout the whole preseason, to be fair. Like you said, he didn't go to the World Cup, so he's come back. He's on full fitness. He didn't have no injuries at the end of the season. And he wants to carry on his momentum from the back end of last season and show the rest of the team.
That, I'm a starter.
I'm a starter. Yeah, he wants to start because he knows he's good enough. I am good enough. I helped Arsenal win the league at the end of the season, and I started in the Champions League final. So that says a lot.
Exactly.
So I still think it's going to be Miles Lewis-Skelly. I think Bruno, and me personally, I would rest Declan Rice. I would rest because
there's not going to be many opportunities to say that, so I wouldn't be against it.
Exactly. I'm not saying that he wouldn't be on the bench. Obviously, definitely you got to have him on the bench if need be, but he doesn't need to start against Coventry at home because we saw what we did to Man City against Man City just the other day with Lewis-Skelly, Bruno Guimaraes, and Odegaard. I'll play the same midfield three and then bring Declan Rice off the bench. or you could bring out Zubimendi or Mikel Moreno, whatever it may be. But I'll keep that same 3 because they had a good little they had
synergy,
a great
man.
Synergy, great
They
understanding.
understood each other's game and that.
Great understanding. So yeah, I'll still keep Miles Lewis-Skelly. I wouldn't just drop him. No, I personally wouldn't. But going forward, when we're playing the big dogs and we're going away to the Old Traffords and we're going away to Anfields, there is going to be games where Miles Lewis-Skelly, you might have to sit down, and I will play Bruno G, Rice, and Odegaard. I think that's our strongest 3. But starting the season, I don't want to see Declan Rice yet. I don't want to see him. I think it's too early. Even though he looks fit and ready to go, because you know how these footballers are, I'm ready, I'll play. But sometimes you need to save the player from the player. And
exactly.
He doesn't
be a bit cute and clever because they're not going to be too many times. And people see this rest thing and think, oh my God, not play him. If Rice plays, then fair play in it. But provided everything goes to plan, he can come off the bench and get a 45, get a 20, get a 30. Yeah. We all know Aston Villa away. Off the bat, you want Rice to play in that. But if you can be a bit cute and clever and not give him the occasional start, rest his legs, you could suddenly, like if there's a 10-game stretch and you've been doing that, you've probably saved him for 90 minutes. Like it will add up to that because football, bro, it's not even 90 minutes now. It's 97 to 100 owing to the time added on in that. And that's the one thing that I'm kind of scared of this season is every player did put their body on the line. Like, so for example, Saliba, we know it's documented. He played with an injury in the Champions League final. We know if it never happened for France in that World Cup, it was going to happen at some point in England. Now, I'm not going to say it's a blessing in disguise, but it probably is a bit because there's an international break coming up. We can rest. Maybe indirectly that's forced the boat out to be even more aggressive for Konza. So that, like, we knew that was going to be the case. Rice is carrying knocks, Saka's carrying knocks. That is the shit that will derail our season. So we do need to be a bit cute and clever. But then, Miles, I realized to myself, bro, the best teams are playing higher end of 40, close to 60 games this season. The best footballers for club and country are probably playing 70 games. There's an element of we can't do anything about this, but that's why I agree with what you said.
But I think Arteta's learned, and the best person who I've seen do it throughout the years is Pep. He always knows when he wants his team to peak. Arsenal, there was times in the season, obviously, and we never had the squad, and it's naivety. Mikel Arteta, he's a young manager. The players were young. They've never been in a title race. I feel like we peaked. We peaked just to keep up with Man City around February. We peaked then. Okay, but we're still here in the race with them, where they're just still, okay, cool. We're going to run off, though. Last 200 meters, when we hit that bend, we're pushing.
And that's what April was kind of looking like. And big up the boys for locking in.
Exactly. So before, and then we would fade out, and players we're going to the Champions League where Arteta's not rotating, but he's scared because he needs to still keep up with Pep and their squad, where they had a bigger squad at the time. And when they peak, it's like, okay, they're going on a run now. And we can't keep up. And we'll probably drop points away to Everton and a stupid Forest draw, and where they're just on a run.
Lord knows we had a lot of those last season as well, to be fair.
Well, obviously now we're learning. Now this is why he's building a bigger squad. He's getting the quality like the Bruno Guimaraes. You can sit down the Declan Rice. It's like you don't need to play Declan Rice, because if roles are reversed, I can't see Pep Guardiola starting if he did have Rodri against Coventry at home and you still got someone like Elliot Anderson and a Bruno Guimaraes in your squad, and Rodri's just coming off the back of playing a million games.
And everyone in that midfield similar levels now. Like Norgard, he could have played more, but clearly there's a drop-off. You don't rate him. You've got Bruno, you've got Zubi, you've got MLS, you've got Rice. There's kind of no excuses now. It's not the same, but I was talking to my Man United brethren. I feel the same way, like isolated to you lot story with Michael Carrick, innit? Like last season, you never had midfielders. It probably is what it is. Now you've got Santos. Now you've got Colby. Now you've got Telemans. Now you've got Bruno. There's probably one name, Belieber, that I'm missing out. Now it's a case of like Arteta. You've got the ingredients. What meal do you want to chef up? Because that's what I think Arteta's thing is. His thing is just, I need players of a certain level, rightly or wrongly. I don't think he's on gambling at times. So now you've got that in midfield.
I listened to his interview the other day with I forgot what it's called. The guy with the glasses. He's good. You know the funny guy with the glasses with the bald head.
Men in Blazers podcast. I think he was talking about attacking the league versus defending the league. I like that language, by the way.
Yeah, good. It shows optimism. Shows that we want to go and get it again. And obviously they asked him like, who's your biggest threat? And he said ourselves. And it's true.
Well, what do we say as Arsenal fans? Music to my ears,
it's ourselves, and that's a message that he's sending to the squad, sending to the boys. They all know they're strong. They all know we've done this. We are the team that everybody wants to beat.
Just don't get excited.
Don't get excited. We could do something, because at the end of the day, we chased history of actually getting it over the line and winning the league and being the first team to do it within 22 years Now you can actually create your own history, this squad.
Going back to back, winning a Champions League, things we haven't seen in our life.
Yeah, so now you've broke the hoodoo, because there's teams before that's won the league. You were the team that broke the league, and you're always going to go down the history books. The team
First of the Emirates era as well.
Yes, but now you can actually create your own history. Your things that Invincibles didn't do, 98 didn't do, all those great teams, they didn't do it. You could be the first. So that's another driving point that he can drive within the squad, and something the boys can have within themselves. Yeah, we was the first team to go back to back for Arsenal Football Club. So I still think there's enough there for the squad to drive on and try to get another title over the line. Obviously, some people say this is the hardest thing to do, which it is, because I think the only people who's done it is Chelsea, City, and Man United. No,
yeah,
they're the only three that's only gone back to back.
Pep, Jose, and Sir Alex.
So yeah, exactly. So and look, Liverpool, they had a great squad. They had that team was amazing with Salah, Sane, and they still couldn't do it. So
even recent years, like Slot won it. Granted, it's not the same, but like it's the same squad. Well, they brought in more players and it went worse. So I do agree with that. Yeah. And that's why I look at the club as well, bro. It's like, as much as it's Arteta and the players, I do look at the club, because there's got to be something. We are one of the biggest clubs in England. We're the third biggest, excluding Man United and Liverpool. I feel as a club, when you go throughout the years, since the 1930s, we've won stuff in the late 90s. We've won stuff in the 2000s. It feels like, and I'm not saying it with these lot, but it just feels like we build and build and build. We get to that point, we achieve success, and we don't kick on and make that a consistent. Yeah. So I agree with you in that, because I kind of say it in a different way. I kind of say, and this all comes from a place of love, you lot haven't done anything I haven't seen before. In that, I've seen us win the Prem. I've seen you get to 2 Champions League finals. Well, I've seen you get to a Champions League final. So that's where I'm looking at the club. And that's actually why I asked you about the left winger, because as much as I understand about the market and value for money and all of those talking points, that's an evident area. That would have told me, like, I know it didn't bang, but if you got Vinicius, or if you spent that 117 million for Rodgers, I'm not saying these things wouldn't work, but that would have made me think of, okay, now we're on a new beginning. So it's an interesting one, man.
Not for that. When we first...
No, I'm just saying, for argument's sake, it would have told me, because that's nothing we don't normally do. I'm not on 117 million for Rodgers. I wanted him, but I can understand the club walking away. My thing is, you can walk away from the Rodgers thing. The Vinny thing doesn't happen. The Bacola this. My thing is just, what now? Like, come September the 1st, did you address those 2 areas? And only they can answer that.
One thing I will say is, when it comes to the market and when it comes to business, Arsenal's not good.
Yeah, no, we don't get zanked.
We're not good, because I was speaking to me and Tigo was having a conversation off camera, and we spoke about it on camera as well. Big up T. Yeah, he was saying at the time, he was the Morgan Rodgers deal. I was on my show. I was like, I love Morgan Rodgers. Because let me cut a long story short. Before that, it was Morgan Rodgers, Gibbs, White, and Eze. We used to compare those 3. Yeah, this is before Arsenal even signed Eze. And I used to say Morgan Rodgers was like top for me. I loved Rodgers. I thought he was quality. When they wanted 130 for him, I was like, no, I don't want to pay that much for Morgan Rodgers, because if you're spending 130 on a player, that means I need someone that is going to be in and around the Vinny Juniors, the Caveat Scalias.
You have to be world class. You
have to be world class.
Flirting with them kind of combos.
Haaland and Mbappe, like. You start going to those guys, I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah.
And I was saying, there's no point spending that money on Morgan Rodgers, because we spent 60, 70 million on Eze. They near enough do the same thing. So it's pointless. Cool. What we've seen now with Chelsea, they've spent 117 or 116 on Morgan Rodgers. But now what they've done, Chelsea Football Club, is they've done it. I don't want to quite budget. I'm just going to try to break it down. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but there was a deal. Tigo was telling me there's a deal within 45 days. You can loan a player or buy a player back off that player that sold you the team, i.e. Garnacho, or
that's where the Buki dodgy dealings.
That's where the Buki dodgy. Yes, exactly. So to cut a long story short, it looks like Chelsea spent 117 on Morgan Rodgers. They're not spending some of that. They're not spending 117 on Morgan Rodgers, whereas they've got their accountants, and people might say it's cheating, but it's not. It's just exploiting.
At the end of the day, the game is the game. We might have to adapt some of these practices, man.
And these are the practices Arsenal's don't do. These are the practices that I feel like Arsenal Football Club is just not. We're not acute in that field. We just saw 117, 139. We didn't look at different angles of way of getting this player, whereas Chelsea they've spent 117 on him. But I think if we see Jackson go to Aston Villa within a few days for 40 or 60 million.
Now you know what time is.
Now you know.
We should have tried flog them 1-2 players. Exactly. You know Nelson and that, man. We should have tried the thing still.
And it's not even. I'm not even just talking about the Morgan Rodgers deal. I'm just talking about in general, like Arsenal Football Club in general. I don't think we sell well. We don't sell well as a business, and I feel that's hindering us, because if us not selling is not, it's not helping us get the top players that we need. Like
player
you said,
trading needs to get better, man,
it
because
needs
like,
to
I
get
think
better.
we're going to step into that because we're signing 1-2 young players and whatnot. Obviously, in years to come, we might, they all progress to the first team, great, but there's a 10, there's a 15, there's a 20 odd million quid. Generally, we need to get better at selling those kind of young players. We need to get better at the loan market. We need to get better as, like you said, flogging these guys, because I don't rate Nelson necessarily. And we will know what happens with Gabriel Jesus. And I'm not saying it's easy, but I think every Arsenal fan will probably admit, if these same players with what they are now were at certain other clubs might get a random 15 or 20, and everyone's like, how did you get that? You man are money laundering, you're doing something dodgy. We need to kind of get there. Are you upset with Berta? Because I only say this because obviously we can't answer because we're not there in it. I just find, and I can't find the tweet, but someone made a point that like, when it was Bruno and when it was Konza, why does it seem to be ownership to ownership kind of thing now? And then obviously the Rodgers thing didn't happen. I assume that's Berta's like remit. Obviously, the Vinny thing didn't happen. I assume that's his remit. There's been a couple of other stuff. We still ain't really sold anything. I'm not blaming the guy, but it's the same way if Mikel Arteta does well on a football pitch or managing and the players do well on the pitch, I can critique or praise. Do you feel we need a bit more from Berta in that regards? Because big him up for the part he's played and big him up for last season and all the new contracts and that. But I did think this was a big summer for him specifically.
Yeah, of course. Last season, we got players that we didn't know about, the Mascaras and all these guys, untapped talent in a different market where he was in Spain. So I feel like he has done his job in certain aspects, but this season it has been a little bit of a disappointment because you know that we've been needing a left winger. You know that Arsenal Football Club for years. You like you said, it's ownership to ownership to get some of these other players over the line, and it seems like he hasn't been a part of it. It might have been, but like you said, we're not there. But I feel like there's just some kind of form of a disconnect between him and Mikel Arteta. And we saw that last year with Gyökeres and Benjamin Sesko.
And the Sesko thing, yeah.
Yeah. Sesko is Arteta.
You can just see that's an Arteta striker, innit?
Yeah,
Young, could be molded, all of that. Gyökeres went against the grain. It's like what you see is what you get, which I think helped us and maybe helped Arteta in his coaching.
But I just feel like I don't know if they're both on the same page. I feel like more Edu and Arteta was more on the same page, if anything. But the thing is, we don't know if Edu was capable of getting certain players over the line. That's it. I don't know if he's links, whatever it may be. But I don't know. But yes, I feel like he could do a bit more this window. But we just have to. But are we just saying that because we didn't get the attackers we want? Because if we turn around tomorrow and we get, I don't know, like a Yildiz, for example, and Berta got us a Yildiz, are we going to turn around and say Berta hasn't done his job?
No. Do you know what? Yeah, one thing I would say with Berta in comparison to Arteta, and I'll actually say sorry to Edu about 1-2 things because it came out when we got Bruno. Yeah, that I think David Ornstein did a big article and he was saying in 2022 Edu and the other Dons were on it, Arteta wasn't. So I apologize for that. I like Berta. Like you're of a different level to Edu, innit? Like what you keep hearing me say, new contracts. That's the biggest thing. Like regardless of what happens with Ranieri. He's under contract. His deal didn't run down. Saliba, Saka, this one, that one. Man got new deals. You did what you needed to do in the market last year. I like the approach and the gamesmanship. Sometimes, like what Berta does in that, I negotiate different deals and then I go with what I want to go to. He plays a game of chicken. Now, obviously, no man is without fault. Sometimes his approach might have bit him on the arse. Like maybe we was hoping Villa and Rodgers as time goes on, the price is going to drop. That didn't bang. I know it's Jeremy Monga, but we left the door open for City to get involved. So there's probably been a bit of egg on faces. And you're right, we probably are kind of frustrated in that regards. We don't know everything. My thing with Berta is you've done well. Just make sure September the 1st comes and we've done what we need to do. Now, granted, if it's just a Konza and a Bruno G thing for me, I think we've got enough to win the Prem. I do think we've got enough to make a real good go of the champs, but there's nothing that makes me think, oh, you know what? Excluding the historical favourites in Europe, like the powerhouses, there's something there, if that makes sense. So I'll give Berta that. I like his ability to pivot as well. I do like his ability to pivot because you were trying for Gurhi and Howson last summer. You went and got Mascara. I do like, at the end of the day, you got Gyökeres over the line. I do think them kind of situations there, we wouldn't have got Gyökeres or Sesko, or if it was Edu, we would have been running that Gyökeres thing to the last day of the summer. So I do think it's that. I do think to a degree, Berta's reputation might precede him, bro, in the sense that we saw what he did at Atletico. We knew how he started at Arsenal. He looks like a mob boss. We just won the league. We're thinking things are going to happen. There's probably that element of him. It's just for me, bro, I don't know where you pivot for left wing. Like, I'm just an armchair expert. I don't know where we go or like what port of call would go to.
But I've seen that a few Atletico Madrid fans are happy. They're happy that Berta's left because now they're saying they're bringing in younger talent. They're getting in players that they've wanted. They're selling players. So they're gonna. I don't know. I'm just listening to what they've been saying. Obviously, they had him for a long period of time, but we just have to wait and see, man. Obviously, it would have been nice if you could have got someone like a Julian Alvarez over there, because obviously you was there with him. You know that player. You even helped get that deal over the line. He was there while he was when he came over from Manchester City.
They're the man I think we need to get when they're at River Plate, bro. That's actually where my thinking is going to now. Like, I know the market's mad. You have to pay with what you want. I like on occasion, Declan Rice, Bruno, Konza, relative household names. But I think you got to find the Mo Salah before he goes Liverpool. The Gundogan and Kevin when they're in Germany. I think that's the thing now. Doué when he's at Rennes. I think that's where we have to go to now. Or we're just going to get into this scenario where people are going to try to bump us. And we've shown we've got money. We were prepared to put the Vinny P's down, but not everybody's Vinicius Jr. And obviously we never got Vinny. So can you find Vinny when he's in Brazil and all these things, which I don't think happens in 2 weeks or so, but you never know. And you never know.
But obviously, going forward, now that we're champions, these are the things that we should starting to look at. Obviously, looking in different untapped markets and different untapped areas, because we know that Arsene Wenger, when he was there, he was a go. No one was in that French market. Saying. And he was there picking up players and identifying gems in and around that French league. So, I
come
agree
back and scout for us, Wenger, man. Purely just scouting, fam.
Yeah,
he must know some youths out there, man. There must be some. Even if I flip it, bro, and I like Zolis because I do think this is from that school of thought. I'm more focused on young players. There could be, for argument's sake, some 26-year-old playing in, I don't know, Somalia. He's a baller. He just needs a platform. Grab him, like you said then. We used to be that. Our signings have kind of been bait. And if I'm honest, when it is the gems, it's defensively. Like Mascara, defensively. Timber was there, Ajax, defensively. We don't really it feels like we move quicker in defense when it comes to defensive targets. It feels like we're a bit more innovative in that regards. We just do the bait things in attack, man. Like, when it comes not to for 50 million, fair enough. It's bait.
When it comes to attack, I don't rate Arteta's talent ID. Anything to do with the defense, oh man, 10-10.
Yeah, you keep me, bro. Bring your centre backs, your left backs, and they've been fucking scoring for us. Calafiori could be a left wing option, to be fair.
10-10. I'd even give him the midfield. 10-10.
Yeah, no, you know what you're doing in midfield.
Yeah, you can identify talent. Yeah, the attack. Not respectfully, I don't kill Noddy Madueke. We all know that he's still got a lot.
He does get scapegoat. Yeah, shit, but does. I do think it goes too far.
Yeah, it does go a bit too far, but it is what we've got him now, innit? But
for me, you're the last one of them kind of man now. Like everything else, level.
But it just feels like when it comes to his talent ID, he doesn't. When it comes to attack, he wants players, and all over the pitch, he wants players to do more than one position or have play in a dual position. Either can he play up front? Can he play left wing? Can he play in
like a Swiss Army knife type of thing?
Yeah, everything.
It's not really specialist. It's like I'm versatile.
Yeah, the new word that what's it called? A left fielder or a right fielder. Can you, like these new terminologies these people are saying.
Crazy.
But anyway,
what was coming.
Yeah, it's mad. But I don't think he can identify a great attacker. He wants a player that could do more than one job, and what we need is someone who's actually good at what they actually do when it comes up front. And we thought we had that in Gyökeres, and
that's why I like Gyökeres. That's why for me,
he's good at that. He's a finisher.
Squad thing.
But Arteta don't play to that. He don't play to his strength. We don't.
In the modern strike, you got to drop deep and do all these things.
Exactly. So when it comes to Arteta's attacking ID, I'm not really a big fan of it. I feel like he can do better. I feel like he should get people in and around him that can help him get better attacking ID. Obviously, this is why we brought in Berta, but I just don't think that they're seeing eye to eye as much. Maybe I'm reading too much into it.
But you want that friction though, bro. Like
but they're on different pages, DG. Sometimes
it's true. No, I think you're right, because I think one thing that might come into play is Odegaard and Kai Havertz. Now, two players divide opinion. They're key members of Mikel Arteta's side. If you're looking at it on a finance thing, I don't know if Berta necessarily wants to give these players who's got 2 years left on their deals an extension. We all know Kai and Odegaard are on big money now, and you can actually, as an Arsenal fan, you can see Berta's side, you can see Arteta's side. Arteta might be saying no, rightly so. They're two key players, etc., etc. And then there's a key case of evolution. Like if Eze takes his game to another level, or when that time comes to put Max in there, if we finally do sign that mad striker, yes, we need depth and things, but these are not like the kind of arguments become redundant, innit? And we've seen ruthlessness before as well, to be fair. It's an interesting one, man. I expect that friction. I agree with what you said about Arteta's talent ID with attackers, yeah. But I also feel he likes the bouginess, innit? Like, I think he likes the bouginess. Like, you want the Viniciuses and that. Whether we can get that's another thing. But then I look at it, Arteta, and this is just for me, for someone that wants better. You've worked with Sterling at the time when Sterling was doing what he was doing. You've seen Sane. You know the levels that's required. I need you to, and you probably are, I need you to bang that drum, man, because that left wing, a part of me actually thinks, bro, what if we just got Semenyo in January? Like, we might not have been the answer, and it might have been another club linked with Vinny and with Vex and saying, oh my God, we got my man in January, whatever. But, and even that, the left wing market shit. Like, you look at the front three positions, yeah. Right wing is meaty, up front's meaty, left wing's meaty, but left wing's probably the meatiest of the lot, bro. Probably is.
It's meaty, but PSG's got all the bloody wingers in the world.
This is what I'm saying. Them man had the best attack and they brought in more, man. So we need to learn.
Bro, they've got all the wingers. They've got all the top talent. They've got Desiree Doué who could play left wing. They've got Bradley Bacolo who could play left wing. And they've got Kvaratskhelia who could play left wing.
And they just brought in Mika Gotts. And, okay, fair enough. People don't rate him like that. But Ferran Torres. So you can see what they're doing. Dembele will be here all day talking about their talent. There's probably some youths, 18, 17 years of age, that equally can bring something to the table as well.
Do you let me ask you a question. Do you feel like we needed to bring in Konza though? Because it's split. The fan base is still split, thinking, why did you spend that money on the defense where you could have used that money for the attack? Because if we go into this rest of the season, rest of the window without buying an attacker, they're going to look at that Konza door like, why did you use that money? But obviously, the other side of the coin is that Saliba is going to be out for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and we need a defender. I personally feel like it was a big gamble. We could have gambled without buying another defender, but I could see why they did. It was a big gamble. It's a gamble.
I'm not on gambling. I went on gambling. And I think Arteta's thinking is, would I like both, ideally? But if worse comes to worse, would I rather an attacker or would I rather have my defense sorted? Because I obviously want to improve on last season. But it could be a carbon copy of last season where, the attackers are frustrating me. My defenders are doing their thing. Now, I have to rate Konza because you probably know Saliba and Gabriel, them man are fit. I'm not playing. But you said, fuck it. I'm a 30 guy in my own right. I'm coming to bring to kind of cause problems for them, which is only good for us. Equally, we've been focusing on Saliba, but Ben White and Timber, they pick up knocks. Ben White being fit for 3 to 5 months, that I'm not a gambling man in it. I don't really want to gamble with that. So you can shift over there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And again, Calafiori, Hincapié, the two fullbacks. There's a lot of knocks. Magalhaes actually had a big injury, and as you know, they're coming off the back of a long season and a World Cup straight into this. I didn't really want to gamble. I wanted to have too much. Where I understand some Arsenal fans is, I think we needed a defender. I think we needed a centre mid. But you could argue we've strengthened already strong areas even more. So I'm kind of cool with it, man. Like, we got a defensive, the great Arsenal wall. I'm cool with it. Could we have pivoted to a cheaper target? I hear it. 50 million for a 28-year-old that's won the Europa League, etc. I don't think Konza's a world beater, but I'm not mad about it. My big thing is just that left wing.
As he's signed now, it's just like, at first it's like, oh, please, man.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely hearing it a lot more now that he's signed. Again, I wanted Konza before Konza just because he was younger. Just because he's younger, and I actually think I don't rate you at centre-half, but I think you would have been a cheeky little right-back option.
You can't play right-back, DG, man. We saw what Konza did.
He made it. Yeah, but Konza fucked up as well, if we're keeping it true.
Yeah, but I'd rather have Konza, though, as a right-back than Konza.
Konza's better right now, 100%. Yeah.
Obviously, like you said, but 50 million. This is the market we're in, though. This is the market.
I think it's fair.
It's not the worst.
That's what I'm saying.
And if you've got someone who of his quality that's willing to sit down, I know that they're going to sit down for certain games and they're not
back himself,
and back himself. Then obviously, and he's played the Premier League. He's been here for years. He's an experienced player. It's not a bad signing. I just feel like maybe we could have used that money somewhere else. But at the same time, like you said, you don't want to gamble. You don't want to gamble because there's players in and around our squad, especially our backline, that are injury prone. Calafiori is injury prone. Obviously, he's a centre back. It's the other side of the field. But if one goes down, it affects the rest. It's a domino effect. You've got Timber, we've got Ben White. Both of them, we don't know, injury prone. Saliba, he's out until after Christmas. So I can understand the signing, but I can still understand where we could have took a gamble at the same time, because I still believe that our midfield and our defense is strong enough to get us to the Christmas point while Saliba comes back. But I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it because the main signing for me was Bruno G. That was the main sign. That I needed Bruno G. This might sound outrageous.
Like he's been here all year, man. I'm for years better.
Brother, I needed Bruno G more than I needed that Vinny signing for me. Because
I hear it. It's gonna sound mad, but I actually hear what you're saying.
And when I say it, and I said it on my show, and people was saying, "Oh, it's crazy. How can you not want Vinny G?" And in the ideal world, I'd love a Vinny G. We all would. Everybody would. But I know that Declan Rice needed rest. And Declan Rice can sit on the bench because Bruno G is in the squad. When Declan Rice came off the pitch, not even came off the pitch, when Declan Rice went right back against West Ham, for 15 minutes, and there was a gaping hole in that midfield, we looked like we looked like we was going to throw away the league title within.
So imagine you got minutes. Bruno G, where you still have to throw Rice to right back, but my man comes in, the absence might not be felt. And also, yeah, you just gave me a thought, yeah. One thing I like about this Konza signing is, you know how football is. Like you said earlier, players need saving from themselves. It probably was the logical decision for Saliba to take the World Cup and not play in the Champions League, to take them off. We all know that's not how the real world works, innit? Mm-hmm. So my point is, when you've got Konza and you got this one and that one, you're not rushing Saliba back necessarily. You're not rushing Timber back necessarily. You're not getting into that scenario where Mascara's young, innit? He's gonna make mistakes. You're not kind of forcing him to play himself in and out of form. You're not throwing a young Marley Salmon into the Wolves where I rate him and that. But clearly, you play young defenders and they make mistakes. That is gonna be more hurtful for your team than if you've got a young attacker missing 1v1s, etc., etc. So that's also a good thing for me. What do you make of the age thing, man? Because if I'm honest, I like to see my club do different shit. Like, I might not rate Gyökeres, but that was a signing that we all probably thought we're either going to get Sesko or do nothing else. That was like something different. Konza, 28 years of age, 50 million, 2 years left. 9 times out of 10, we'll probably look at that rumor and say, it's not going to bang. Bruno G, 28. Some people would say that. Now, I don't think people move like these ages, they're pensioners and whatnot, yeah. But I actually like it because, one, it's the Alex Ferguson thing. You're cherry picking and making sure that, we're getting the best outside the rest in it type of thing. Also, you're raising both the ceiling and the floor because now you've got Konza, Saliba, Gabriel all fighting. That's all great. I like that we're doing it a bit different. It's a bit mad though, because somebody said to me, we spent 145 million. I was like, where? Then I did the maths. 30, 40 on Zolis. You've obviously paid for Hincapié the 45, 50 odd million quid, and you're bringing in Konza and you're bringing in Bruno G. So I kind of like it, but like, what do you make of that? What do you make of it? And so far, like, because you said, yeah, the window shuts. The window shuts now. What do you give our window out of 10?
Window out of 10, I'd give it a 7, 6.
I think 6, 7 as well. If you force me, I'm gonna say 6.
Yeah, because
I like the signings in isolation.
Yeah, but we haven't sold well. So if I'm looking at
and that left wing's not been addressed.
If I'm looking at overall transfer market, like selling and buying, I'd give it a 6. I'd give it a 7 if it's talking about the signings that we brought in, because we've covered that right back, centre back, i.e. Konza. We've got that Bruno G piece that we absolutely needed, and we've got someone like Solis, who is, like you said, is a gamble, but he's looking promising. And
he looks. I'm happy with that guy.
Back up, which is. That's half a point. That's whatever. But if we did sell some of our players, some of our assets, and get some good money, and brought in a big striker or a big attacker, it probably would have gone up to like an 8, 9. But right now, I'm just having it as a 6 as an overall. But going back to your original point about the ages, listen, I'm not mad at it, bro, because we've had Patrice Evra banter us and all these other clubs banter us, so you can't win anything with kids. Now these guys are in their prime ages, 27.
Prime, bro.
27s, 26s, and they still got years in their legs. We've still just seen someone like Granit Xhaka, who's 34, just getting to the team of the season.
Exactly. And players are looking after themselves a lot more. Chelsea just want to sign Danny Welbeck. It's not 98 years of age.
Yeah, it's not, bro. Sports science has evolved, and we've evolved as people. People are getting faster. Bro,
Santi just retired the other day,
Brother. Bro, Modric's still playing. He's 40.
Exactly. It's mad. It's mad. Bro, like Ronaldo's just saying, I'm going to call it a day, but him, he might not.
Bro,
Messi's still kicking ball.
Bro, there's men in and around the game that are still older. Obviously, they can't operate at a level where they once was. But where we are right now, I'm looking at the numbers. Like, Saliba's 25, Ben White's 28, and Capia's 24.
Our oldest outfield player is Marino still.
Brother, I'll take it. Because
I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at it at all. This is the age where these guys are ready to win, and we've got a place, and we're in a space
win
where
now mode. We
can win now. Yeah, seize the present. We've been through stages where we've had young players and young talent, and they've got to this age, but because we're not winning, Man United will take them, Man City will take them, Barcelona will take them,
Van Persie,
Chelsea will take
for years. The minute you're fully fit and take it to another level,
and our team will take you. Safe.
Yeah, safe, and it worked out for him and United,
exactly.
not us.
So I'm glad that we've still got our squad. It's not an aging squad. It's a squad where most players are now are hitting the ages where they're just about ready to peak, or be next year or next 2 years they're going to peak, and hopefully we can capitalize on that within a few years, within the next 4 or 5 years. If Mikel Arteta's still here, or whatever manager it may be, we're gonna have to start phasing out a few players, and that's inevitable. We have to start rebuilding.
That's natural. Like that's gonna happen. Like
that's gonna happen.
Like the players that helped us get top 4 weren't necessarily here to help us challenge for a league again and actually get over the line. And the people that were here helping us win a league or get to this point, you might not be here when we're trying to retain a lead. And the players that helped us retain 2 Premier Leagues, you might not be there if by God's grace, in the next 2 seasons, we win the Champions League. So it's always a process. For me, I'd give it a 6 or a 7, just